Hey guys, long time no seen. It's indeed been a while since I uploaded the last video, and that is because I've been concentrating on game development for the past few weeks. Been working quite intensely on all kinds of things, small and big. But that means that my video output rate goes down, and that's something that I have to sort of deal with nowadays when I work like I do. How to strike a balance between actual game development and video production. Not that they are necessarily mutually exclusive, and these transmission videos are pretty low effort to make, but still, sometimes it's not really a good time to put out videos. And that has been the case recently, but I think I should probably put out a video and show you what I have been working on. All kinds of things, like I mentioned, some of which might feel a little boring as you actually work on them, but when they come together, you get cool things on the screen. So what do we have? I have a whole list here of things to actually show you. First of all, we have a new level here. As you can see, the level is very bare bones. Actually, it's just a few cliffs here, some of the pipelines. We are essentially out on the large plain, which you can see from the demo level. And this level has one purpose, or one main purpose, and that is to be the setting for a small intro cinematic that I want to put together to sort of establish the tone before you start playing in the intro level, to let the player know what are we doing, where are we going, what is this thing. And since I haven't really done any kind of cinematics previously, it has allowed me to figure out, okay, what are the systems that I actually need to put one of these things together. And so let's jump straight into the first of these systems, which is camera animations. And not just actually camera animations, but a system that I call timelines, which allows me to sequence things, things that are supposed to happen together and at certain times. So you can see, for example, I'm going to pause the game here. You see the camera moving, you can see these two vehicles driving along the road. If we unpause, we can see some camera cuts here, and you can still see the camera smoothly moving along a spline following these two guys. During this, there's supposed to be some conversation between the characters in the game, and that's something that I'll get back to in a little bit. Another thing that we can immediately see here, if we turn on the nav mesh, is that, if you remember in the previous video, we worked on the driving AI. I fixed a whole bunch of problems with that. So now you can see that the cars drive quite perfectly along the area on the nav mesh marked as a road, which is this different colored strip here. But they are still not actually driving along a spline or anything like that, and they are simply ordered to drive along the road until they reach the destination, which is set somewhere here. And so that's pretty nice. The next thing that we can see working is if we let them drive a little further, and we essentially let this cinematic play to the end. We have a system now set up where the game can transition between areas. So now we can see that we essentially came from over there. I know that the cars are not exactly the same as they were in the previous area, but we've essentially arrived here at this level that we've seen many times before, and this is where the actual gameplay is gonna take place. And there was actually quite a lot of stuff to implement to make traveling between areas work, even though it kind of seems like a very small thing. So that's now working as well. And of course, one of the big things missing now from that cinematic is is the conversation between the characters. And that's something that I'm gonna start working on next, or if not next, then at least very, very soon. And for that I've done a whole bunch of things on the tools. Mostly on the timbre audio engine and runtime. And also on the Nemo system. So Nemo is sort of like a game information database and scripting solution, which we've looked at in a previous video. But let's have a look at the timbre system first. So timbre is the audio engine, and here we have, oh, actually we can take another project. Take the dev project. So I've split the stuff that's actually going to go into the game into another project so that I can have this dev project where I just mess around with various things. So I've introduced something called group buses. If you have 3 group buses, you can assign an event or a whole bunch of events to one of the group buses. Sound effects, for example, and you can see here the bus that it's assigned to. So a bus essentially groups together a bunch of sounds or events, allows you to adjust their volume, panning, filters, that kind of stuff, as a whole, as a group. And so this is how many games, for example, allow you to adjust the volume for the music separately from the volume for the sound effects, that kind of stuff. It's pretty bare bones still, but the important thing is that it allows me to start grouping things into their respective buses as I put more audio events and content into the game. And then I've done some other things as well, like this here, for example. This I worked basically on being able to just re-parent and move around these things. It's kind of ridiculous how complicated such a system can be. So all kinds of small improvements and fixes. The next thing I want to briefly mention, we don't need to save that, is localization. So if we go into the game, we have localization, and we have a good old Excel sheet. The most boring of boring things in the world. And you might wonder, okay, why do I bother with localization already? Like there's not really anything to localize, and that's true. However, a localization system allows you to have your customer-facing or player-facing texts collected in one place and reasonably easy to change rather than sprinkling them around, hard coding them in. And so that is why I have started moving things over to the spreadsheet. We have English here, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Swedish. Swedish is here mostly just because I speak Swedish, so I don't speak any of these languages, but I speak Swedish, so I can essentially verify the system is working by just having some Swedish text there, being able to actually change the language of the game and seeing it appear in another language. But the English is obviously the most important one, and we already have some dialogue lines here for the mission. So now that I have these here, and I have this kind of small localization converter, which you can just run like this, and it produces a bunch of files for you. It produces a zig file, which makes it so that you can actually get those localization keys into zig. We can see it here. Localization keys.zig. This is generated as the comment say, and you get all of the localization keys like this. It also produces some data files, like we have it in JSON here, for example. And this is kind of interesting now, because now if we go into Nemo, So the Nemo editor, let's say that's the startup project, and we can run it. Let's hope that it actually runs. Haven't really used Nemo on this particular machine for a while. Now if we go into the demo mission here, you can see that actually get these prepended with an exclamation mark. You get auto-completion for all of the texts here. So when you actually add new keys here and you want to use the localized texts in the conversation, Nemo can actually tell you all of the texts. And you can override them. You can just go like hello, and that's fine. Yeah, then you're just using an unlocalized text, which may or may not be completely fine for the case. But then Nemo will alert you when you actually export this into the game that hey, that is what's going on. Same thing with the audio. The game actually only has 2 engine sounds currently, but as I start recording the voiceovers, I will put them into timbre and they will magically show up here, and then you can use them for the audio. Some other interesting things here is, for example, the fact that if you don't override the duration and set it here as this is set to 5 seconds specifically, Nemo can now actually read the duration out of the timbre data and figure out how long the mission will stay in this node before progressing. So with all of this in place, we can now start to actually put together quite a lot of content in the game just by plugging it in and letting Nemo take care of the rest. It will use the localized text that we've set up, and it will play the audio, do everything like we want to. And so that's pretty cool. I don't actually currently play that mission here, which is why you don't see those texts or anything, even though they are input into the editor. And yes, there's clearly quite a lot of work still on this level, but I think it's coming together quite nicely. And so for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've essentially just been fleshing out these systems so that I can properly start to put this area together, put in all the content, and yeah, that should be the beginning of actually starting to put in all of the content needed for the demo. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Not a whole lot of actual game development, mostly just building tools and systems to facilitate game development. But sometimes that is what game development is, especially when building your own tech. And hopefully I have most of it covered now, and I can get back to actually producing cool things in the game. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, leave them below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.